city's defenses continued to wage an all-out assault against Merrin and her tiny submarine. But despite the impossible odds, Merrin pressed on, ever hopeful that she was getting closer to her father. There was yet another diving bell. The Fomori must have used them for transportation. Had her father made it to one? Had he found a way to escape? Merrin knew it was wishful thinking, but the idea still gave her hope. Open water stretched out in all directions. The golden spires of the Forbidden City gleamed in the distance. while a yawning trench lay below. At last, Merrin spotted her father's boat lying on the sea floor. Suddenly, a violent current grabbed hold of Merrin. It pulled her inside a powerful Fomori machine known as the Architect. The machine had once built the towering golden spires of the Forbidden City, but now its purpose was simpler and more sinister. Scaring a turtle into its shell appeared to cause the beams of that color to shut off. Although she hated to leave the safety of the submarine in such a hostile environment, she needed its weight at the sensor to keep the beams turned off. Merrin felt sorry for having to scare the turtles, but it was the only way to help them escape from the machine. As Merrin entered the innermost room of the Architect, a large red turtle activated an alarm. Suddenly, the insides of the machine began to move and change shape around her. Turtles hiding in their shells could now be moved safely around. Merrin was careful not to hurt them. After all, this was for their benefit, as well as her own. The red turtle continued to evade Merrin. She wondered if she could trick him into taking a more dangerous path. A burst of energy from the machine sent the turtle back into his shell. But a piece had broken away. Merrin recognized it as a Fomori sonar device. The submarine shot out a burst of pure sonic energy, shaking the architect and scattering broken glass in all directions. This new power might be Merrin's one opportunity to escape. As the last piece of the great Fomori machine collapsed, Merrin heard the sounds of distant turbines. The current that had pulled her in was now reversed, pushing her back out into the sea and toward her father's boat. Enormous red tentacles grabbed her submarine, cracking its hull and crushing its propeller. The unseen beast pulled her down into the darkest depths and left her at the bottom of a deep, rocky trench. Her submarine broken, Merrin sat helplessly at the bottom of the sea. She opened her father's journal. On the last page, he had written a note to her. Her hands trembled as she read it. My dearest Merrin, I now realize I may never see you again, and I feel that I have failed you. I'm sorry for all the times you went hungry. I'm sorry I could not buy you pretty dresses and paints and books of your own. I wish I could have given you a happier life. Please know that I love you more than all the world. Merrin put down the journal, and her eyes blurred with tears. She didn't want pretty dresses or paints. She had a happy life, and she just wanted it back. For the first time since her journey began, Merrin had lost hope. She felt the slow, dull realization that her father was truly gone. She watched as the water seeped in through the cracks in the submarine's hull. She could no longer will herself to go on. As the cold water slowly rose up around her, there was a tapping sound from above, and the hatch creaked open. It was Swish. He gently picked Merrin up and pulled her out of the trench. He carried her out of the Forbidden City, through caverns and caves she had never seen, until they reached a place so beautiful that Merrin was certain she must